Hey everybody, it's Kelly Oblak for this week's Scraplift Saturday. This is our inspiration piece for the week, and the color didn't inspire me here. I was totally inspired by the theme of story here, and you'll see that come out in my title. I also used some gold accents from all the gold in this. Here is my layout that I'm scraplifting. It's by Jamie Pate for Bella Boulevard. You can go to my Pinterest board for scrapbook layouts and it will be on that board. So here I am showing you that I'm trying to decide between two papers here, both of them from the Chamel collection, but I really liked that pink and blue one. It brings out the pink of the drinks there, which is kind of the important part of this particular layout and the story behind the layout. And since I'm very focused on story for this one, this is what's important here. So I went through and I'm going to use that paper, which is from the new Glitter Girl line, and it's called Get Messy. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to flip that inspiration or the layout I'm scraplifting horizontally so that my 4x6 photo is sitting on the left and not the right. And then the other thing I'm doing, I'm using a 4x4 instead of a 3x3 card. Now I need some sort of border, so that has a border there on it. The scraplifted layout has a border. So I found that really cool leaf paper from the Chamel collection that I'm just gutting right now. That is also from Glitter Girl and it's called Work Hard. And I use a Caterpillar Pro, so I can't gut paper with that. I save a little Fiskars trimmer here that I keep pretty handy. It sits in a drawer and I just have to grab it so that I can quickly gut paper. And because I'm gutting paper, this one doesn't cut completely straight anymore, but because I'm gutting the paper, that doesn't matter to me as much as it did when, of course, I was actually using it for all my trimming. Now I'm going to go to my trimmer, and this is going to take me a little bit of time here because I don't want to just chop off. I think I chopped 3/4 of an inch off. I don't want to just chop it off of one side of the paper, either the top or the bottom or the left or right side. I want to take it off of both sides, and that's because this paper is ombre. It's going from a pink to a turquoise from left to right there. So I wanted to preserve more of the pink on the bottom, first of all, just because the drinks are pink. Again, that's a big part of the story that I'm telling with this layout. And I did want to make sure, though, that I still had enough of that turquoise on the right side. So I chopped a little bit more off of the left side of the paper when I trimmed it. All right, and you saw me use that trick when I got a paper, I only glue the paper that the photos are going to be sitting on at the top first, then I make sure it's straight, and then I go back and glue the other three sides. So what I'm doing now is I'm thinking about using something to mat those papers, or the photos I should say, and the reason that is because the photo that's the 4x4 is sitting a little bit too even with that 4x4 card right now. If you go back and you look at the inspiration layout there, they're a little bit, because the other card's 3x3. There's more of a difference in those how the photos and the card sits in the inspiration layout. And I'm gutting this paper as well, not because I'm going to use it as a background, because this is the kind of paper that I like to use as the background when I border papers. So I figured that way I'd be able to save that, and then I can still use the inside of that to mat my papers here. So that's why I did that. The other thing about the layout that I'm doing versus the scraplifted layout is there was a piece of pattern paper where I'm going to put that, where I put the picture, and then I substituted a journaling card for the pattern paper. So I basically flipped where the bottom photo is and the top journaling card, which is sitting in for the pattern paper in the scraplifted layout. if you've watched any of my work either on Crafty Maven or on my personal channel, you know that I like to journal on journaling cards. I guess it's one of my trademark things now that I think about it. It's one of the things that I almost always do. So now I have this layout pretty much figured out here. That aqua paper that I used to mat the photos is from Amy Tangerine, Hustle and Heart. It's the Stay Wild collection. And then the leaf paper is, again, I think I actually did tell you this, it's from Chanel Glitter Girl Work Card. The other thing that I need to tell you about is that journaling card there. And that is from the Chanel Glitter Girl Be a Square. Then I'm pulling some die cuts from Amy Tangerine Hustle and Heart here. It's just the die cut pack from that. Kind of looking at some Chanel paper. Not quite sure what I'm going to do to embellish here. I do know I want to get gold on it, but I'm not positive. But I do quickly pretty much settle on my main embellishments in my cluster. That suitcase says what an adventure the suitcase is. On the bottom it says sweet things because I'm drinking sangria there. And then the flowers, that die cut flower there is just to bring out some of the yellowy tones that are in the suitcase. That's what I really wanted to do. So it didn't look like it was kind of stuck on the page as an afterthought. And that'll help also bring in the whole gold tones as well. All right, now I did tell you I wasn't inspired very much by the colors, and I think part of that is I just received my Chanel Glitter Girl collection, so I really wanted to scrap with it, and I don't think I could get anything other than that very bright color out of my head. So what I decided to do is, with the story theme, my title is going to be Here's the Story. And I'm using some thickers here from American Crafts. It's a foil chipboard alphabet called Buckaroo, and it's in the gold. And the reason I didn't glue any of those photos or cards down is I wanted to understand how my title was going to fit within that grid of photos. I guess it's kind of the grid, a little modified. I wanted to make sure I had the right font, and I love this font, but I haven't used a ton of it, so I'm glad that I was able to use it on this photo. So now, or with it on this layout. So now what I want to do is I want to get the Here's the Story up there, or here's the piece up there. And I was thinking about jelly bean soup, but I didn't have enough of the right size letter. So I just went to my L Studio Letters and Numbers in white, which is one of my favorite go-tos here. Now, you can see it fairly well here. I will tell you that on the background, on the layout itself, you do have to look a little bit more closely. So I'm kind of playing with that and thinking maybe I should use black on the layout, but I don't like how dark it is. If I had some sort of navy letter sticker like that, I probably would have used that instead. And I did look a little bit, but I didn't have anything. My other navy letter stickers were a little bit too small for what I wanted the size of Here's the to be, actually, as that all worked out. So I'm going to stick this down. I also just got Amy Tangerine's Hustle and Heart. And the reason I'm using the Hustle and Heart die cut pack is I didn't buy the Chanel die cuts this time. There were a lot of pieces in the theme for those that I just didn't think that I would use very easily. And this collection is very, very bright. I do like bright layouts, but it's really intense, a really intense color. So I just was being a little bit careful about how much I bought it. So how much of that I bought. So I bought the papers and then the some of the thickers, and then that mixed embellishment pack, and then the enamel dots, which are really hearts and I think stars both. All right, so now I have the word story glued down. And I'm going to go back, and I do use, because it's their chipboard thickers there, I did use some of my Scotch quick dry adhesive in the fine line bottle. I'm just using that lovely cutter bee tweezers there. If you wonder where that is, I think you can still get them at Michael's, but it's by Cutter Bee. It's the same, actually. They make the cutter pillar as well, I think. Actually, that might not be true. Ignore that I just said that. Anyway, so it's my Cutter Bee tweezers. Okay, so I got that all down. And I just decided to change those two die cuts there so that the flowers on the top and the good or sweet things is on the bottom, just because the sweet things is a little bit bigger than the flower. It was a little bit too weighty. And now I am going to the buttons from Glitter Girl, and those are in the mixed embellishment pack. They come with buttons and sequins and the enamel dots there. And then she also does have an enamel dot, like they're glittered enamel dots this time. So I'm putting down one button there that says hello, and the reason I'm doing that is I really wanted to get the yellow into that cluster, because the yellow or orangey goldy color appears in both of the other two clusters. And again, I wanted to do something to bring it out, and it like pops the clusters, plus it kind of echoes the lemons and the limes in the drinks there. And the story behind this, actually, while I'm doing some of these other things, is that I went to Marco Island with a really good friend who owns a condo there in May with her and her mom. And I'll interrupt this story for just a second. I'm going to put some washi tape down here because there was a little bit too much space above the here's the. It looked like a trapped space to me. So I'm going to use a Bella Boulevard tape, which is really old. I don't think you can get these anymore, but it came from Bella Boulevard in a navy and white polka dot. And I'm going to take up that space so it doesn't look quite so empty there. And then I'll just add a little bit of that tape in the other three clusters there. So I went to Marco Island with a really good friend, Marco Island, Florida, for those of you who don't know where Marco Island is, with a very good friend in May to her condo. And we went out to dinner this night at this restaurant called Pincher's, and it was really hot. We decided to sit outside because it was still fairly cool in Wisconsin, where I'm from. And it was hot, so we decided we were getting cold drinks. Well, they served this really yummy sangria there, but it was 2 for 1. So when you order one, they bring you 2. So it was really funny. I was, two-fisted drinking, and I honestly did finish both of those. But everybody that I was with actually got 2 of those because they were so good. And now, as you know, I am, if you watch anything I do, I am peeling up the back of my photo because I write title ideas, and then I also write the date of the photo on there. So I had to peel that up because I forgot to look at the date. And now I'm taking some of the sequins from the mixed embellishment pack there and just adding them in. And again, that's going to help bring in the gold from the inspiration piece, the mood board there. So I use the gold in the sequins, and I use the gold on the story. I was thinking at one time about doing, putting some gold mist on here, but I just didn't think I was going to like it with this particular paper and the polka dots in the paper here. So I'm just going to finish up my journaling here. Oh, and I should tell you, the other thing is there was just a big hurricane in the area of Florida that my friend's condo is. Her unit is okay. The building and other units in the building did sustain some major damage, but all in all, her side of the island was came out fairly well. So I'm very, very thankful for that. Anyway, I am all done. Thanks for watching, and you'll see a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and we'll be back again with another video soon. Bye.